All right, we are live. Well, you're not hearing this live, but we're live at the Maumee Indoor Theater for the OCTA, the Ohio Community Theater Association Regional Festival, correct? Did I get that whole title right, Liz?
You sure did.
All right, good. And we're with Liz. She is a member of the OCTA board. Are you the president, the treasurer?
No.
Are you the...
No, I am a lowly Northwest lead rep.
Well, Northwest lead rep.
Yes.
That's not
hardly
lowly.
Yeah.
Hardly lowly. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, because you're the one who always reminds us that this is happening. So we don't think you're lowly by any means. But I really hope a lot of people came and saw this when it was happening, because I come into this Maumee theater. I felt like I lived in this theater for years, because both of my kids were doing theater, and every time I come in here, I don't know, it just has a smell, it has a look, it has a feel. Even just walking from the street when I come in, I'm like...
But do you own a popcorn bucket?
No, I'm not a crazy person.
I do.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks.
No, there's a lot of popcorn buckets. When we were here last time, somebody came in off the street, just got popcorn, and then left.
It's good popcorn.
It is good popcorn.
It's good popcorn.
Done it.
You've done the coming off
yeah.
the streets thing? But it is very nostalgic for me, even though I don't know why it should be, because it hasn't been that long ago. But for the OCTA Fest today, we're gonna talk to Liz here. Liz, what is this thing exactly?
It is a way to promote new shows. It promotes all the theaters and what we have to offer in the Ohio region, or in the Northwest region. And this is the, I think, 5th one of the state so far. So North kicked us off this year, and then there was one in Southeast. And last weekend, I was helping out with the Southwest Festival, which happened concurrently with the Central Festival. So
There's only 5 regions, isn't there?
There are 8.
8? Oh, wow. I didn't even know
So
there
there's
was
going to be a
8.
test on this?
So these guys are all, just to summarize it real fast, too, this is a competition.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
this is the OCTA Fest is really like an OCTA competition. So the greatest of the greatest pick their stuff, and they come to a regional location. So actually last night you guys had who?
We had Black Swamp Players kicked us off last night with Puffs.
Nice.
Then we had Oregon Community Theater. They brought I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change.
Uh-huh.
And then last night's final show was Stone Productions with POTUS.
POTUS.
So
a
Yeah,
solid
Stone
first
Production
night.
POTUS. It was a great first night.
No kidding.
And
Yeah.
you had so many people that are attending this festival,
Yep.
you had to push it to the Friday and not just do it all in one day.
Correct. We have 9 theaters participating, so that's too many to do in one day.
I counted 10. I thought there was 10.
Well, unfortunately, Finley had to drop out due to illness.
Oh,
so
Fort Finley was
yeah.
not going to be here today
Yeah,
then?
they
Oh,
were
that's
one
a
of our
bummer.
afternoon shows,
That's a
unfortunately.
bummer. We love them.
Yeah.
We love Fort Finley.
I was looking forward to it. I was really looking forward
I
to
was
having
I was
them
glad
here.
they were on the list. You know what's exciting for me when I saw the list of everybody that was going to be here? I felt like a personal connection having done this podcast now. Like, oh, I know them. We should be able to talk to them. We have a relationship with those guys already enough to they hopefully aren't too shy about coming and talking to us. So you have those 3 main ones. Obviously, Stone Productions. Who were they again?
So we had Black Swamp,
Black
OCT,
Swamp.
and Stone last
And
night.
OCT. Oh, those
and
were good ones.
Right
Yeah.
now, so currently in the theater, we have Waterville Play Shop. They've brought Steel Magnolias. They will be followed by the Thanksgiving play by Actors Collaborative Toledo. And then our afternoon shows are 3B Productions and Bright Star. The Williams County Community Theater is bringing Lovesick. Village Players are bringing the complete works of William Shakespeare abridged, revised again.
Revised.
And the Toledo rep is our last show of the day, and they are bringing Amadeus.
Gee, see, this
She
is
did
why
that without any notes.
That's amazing.
That's
That was
impressive right
amazing.
there.
Didn't have any notes, but that's why you need to come to OCTA, though. Again, you're going to hear this after OCTA, unfortunately, has happened. But this is going to be a reminder. Put it in your calendar again for next year, because we did this last year too. Every theater group that's great is here, pretty much. I mean,
Oh, it's a fantastic lineup. Like,
it is.
we have 15 theaters in the Northwest region, and 10 were originally scheduled. That is a great turnout.
It is.
I think Southwest had more, and they had 13 last weekend.
Good for them.
So,
But
yeah.
We need those other 5 to step up.
Absolutely, we do.
We're not going to say it. We're not going to call you out.
No, we're not going to. I didn't hear Perrysburg Musical Theater.
They're
but
not-
we're not going to.
They're not OCTA members, so you have to be an OCTA member to perform.
There you go. All right, but the thing is like within this, if you're curious about theater groups or wanting to know, hey, I see some postings once in a while, they're having auditions, I'm not really sure about them, how they do their things, come here.
Yep.
Come here,
Yep.
see.
And it's also a good way for people to just see, like, oh, this is the kind of show that they might do.
Yeah.
Because, every theater has their own little niche. Like, oh, well, I like this. I like doing some shows, or some theaters only do musicals. So it's a nice little way to see what they can offer and what they bring. And it's like, oh, I'd love to get involved with that. Or if you're a part of a theater and you're on, like, a play reading committee, you get to see shows and, like, oh, I really liked that.
Right.
We have some new shows, like Thanksgiving Play.
Yeah.
That was only on Broadway, I think, a few years ago. POTUS, when I was in New York 2 years ago, POTUS was on Broadway. So brand new plays. We've got some classics like
Steel Magnolias in there
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
a total classic. But we also have new ones to offer, and it's just a great way to, like, introduce new shows
That
to
was
the
my
area.
thing. That was my thing when I first came. I said, there were so many shows I hadn't seen before. And this is, you just get to see 10 shows, 40-minute excerpts, 10 times 40, 400 minutes of theater. Really good theater up there, and how they select their excerpts. They have to have a solid 40 minutes, right?
So they can go up to 40 minutes. So that 40 minutes includes your setup time. So if you wanted to take 20 minutes to set up your set, then you can. You just then only have 20 minutes to act.
Must be a great set. Yeah.
And then you get 5 minutes to tear down. And then there's an adjudication process after, where the responders will let you know what they liked,
Yeah,
what
they
they would
get
have liked to
judged.
see. Yep.
Yeah, they get judged. It's a competition. So they get up there and they say, okay, this is what we liked about what you did. This is what we didn't like about what you did. I tend to notice that they're kind of nice.
Yes, they're not too
bad.
harsh. They're
We're
not
going to
too
have a
harsh.
couple of responders on, and they can tell us about their process, what was going on.
We're going to get judged?
Yeah, we're going to get judged.
Oh, no. Ron's in that one.
Yeah. So when they come on, they'll judge us and see how we do. But we don't want to go into too much of the judging there. But I at least wanted to have you on, Liz, at least
Thank
give
you.
a quick breakdown of what OCTA is, that it is a competition, and that when people come to see this and spend a little bit of money, they're going to see all these shows all day long if they want.
Yep.
And you're getting competition level quality shows.
Yep.
For 40 minutes.
Yep. And the nice thing is, so the more theaters that we have participate, the more we can send to state.
Yeah.
And because we have 9, we'll get to send 3 to state this year.
Nice.
So last year we had 5, and we had 2, and then we had an alternate that was able to go. So we'll have 3 plus an alternate selected tonight.
Awesome. Amazing. All right. So next we're going to talk to some of these responders, some of these directors, and see how they did and how they felt.
Yep.
See how if they really liked everything that was happening. Like I said, so I remember Nonsense. I said this last year, too. I'm going to say the story again for those who missed it. I saw Nonsense at OCTA for the first time, a 40-minute excerpt, and was like, what is this show? Okay, I need to see this show. This is ridiculous. And that's what I'm hoping people, when they come to OCTA, they have that same experience. That
Yep.
they come in here and they see a show and they're like, I don't know POTUS. What is this POTUS? Let me see what this is, get a nice taste of it and go, okay, I want to see that one, the full thing. That 40 minutes was just a teaser, and it whet my appetite for the whole dang thing now. So
I just want to put a quick plug in
Yeah,
for
plug
state.
away.
So the state competition, or the state conference, is Labor Day weekend. So Friday through Monday, and we'll be offering workshops. I know there are going to be some lighting directing workshops.
Where?
It is going to be at the workshops will be at the Cherry Valley Hotel in Newark. And then the theater competition itself will be at the Midland Theater in Newark.
Where's Midland and Newark?
Newark's right outside of Columbus.
Thank you.
Yep,
There,
sorry.
right.
A
So
little
we're
outside,
down-
yeah.
It's in Central Ohio
Yep,
this year.
north of Columbus.
And
Where
because
can-
you guys alternated, don't you? Sorry,
Yep.
Tom.
Yep.
Where can they go to get information on that?
They can go to OCTA1953.org.
Again, no notes. She just had that, rattled that off. That's impressive.
And you can find Northwest Region, OCTA Northwest Region on Facebook. You can find OCTA Ohio. Is OCTA? It's just called OCTA. What is it called? The main one? Do you know?
So there's OCTA State Conference.
OCTA State Conference.
Yep.
Okay.
And I believe there's another OCTA page on Facebook. But
Tons of OCTA
Yep.
stuff. It's a
Yep.
green state with the words OCTA right in the middle of it. And Northwest Region will have its own little highlighted Northwest Region. You found the right page. Otherwise, we're also going to post them information when we share our things to get you to the right pages. But obviously, that's where you're going to find the website. That's where you're going to find the tickets. That's where you're going to find out all the information.
Yep.
Again, if you're theater nuts like we are, you want to like and follow their pages so that you can know when all these things are happening.
Just nuts. OCTA. That's
Correct.
how OCTA is.
Yeah, OCTA, exactly.
And if you are east of Wood County and Lucas, you would be in the North Region. So in the North Region also has their own Facebook page.
Right, and those are people all in this region too. That isn't like Tiffin Ritz and like Sandusky.
They're
and
all in the north.
Yeah,
Yep.
I thought so. But they're still driving distances to us, and we still have a lot of people that go in and out of those regions. It's not a big deal.
Nope.
They just decided to break it up one year because there was just too many theaters in Northwest, right?
Yep.
I thought that was the case because
Yep.
some of those I knew were part of Northwest at one point in time.
We were too mighty.
Too mighty. Yeah, that's what it was. Couldn't handle us. So they're like, maybe if we break them apart, we can maybe win some state competitions.
Northwest is a really, really great.
Oh,
It's wonderful.
Great.
why we can do this.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, cool. We're gonna sit down with some directors here, hopefully. Bye.
Yep. Thank you.
I don't know if I like Kyle in my ear this close.
Oh, is it that loud?
It is loud.
No, it's fine. It's
good. I can turn you down.
It's not the volume, it's the Kyle.
It's the Kyle. Hurts. You wouldn't be the first to say it, so there.
So you raised 2 kids, you've heard worse.
All right, we got our first show. You guys just came out of the show. You got your response from the responders. Is that what they call it?
Yep.
Or do you just
Yep.
call it judgment? You guys have been judged, hung out to dry.
It's much more supportive than judgment.
Than what
It's-
I'm saying right now?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so-
definitely constructive criticism. These
very
are some
positive
yeah,
feedback.
Very positive.
Yeah.
Everybody was nice.
Very
think
thoughtful.
Okay, so we
very
have
positive.
Shauna and we have who?
Sharon.
Shauna and Sharon and it's with Waterville Steel Magnolia. Okay, and Shauna, how did you pick the excerpt? First of all, like you have to pick 40 minutes. You picked it, right?
Ultimately, it was my decision, but it was based on advice from others.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Always like,
Yeah.
well, I am the queen, but I do listen to my subjects.
The strongest leaders know who to put around them
There
to
you go.
give good advice, and
Very
that's
smart.
what I've done.
And how did the feedback go then?
Fabulous. I
Well, tell
thought
me
it
some
was
stuff. Tell me.
great.
Ron was
Yeah.
in the show. Ron, you saw
Yeah.
it. How
I
were
sat
they?
there and watched.
Yeah.
It was delightful. It was funny. Everything the responder said was right. And we
What
met.
a butt
we met.
kiss.
We met. Yeah. We met Sharon for the first time to our stage door. We've never met you before, but
No.
welcome.
Who was she in the show? Was she good? Was she any good?
She
Was
was
I
the
any
mom.
She was the mom.
Yes, I was Malin.
Yeah.
Malin.
Yes.
Emma's mom, not Emma.
Emma Skaggs' mom.
Sheldon.
Shelby's mom.
Shelby's mom.
We're missing all of
But,
we're
Yeah.
Sorry, we're using real names here on the air. Yeah.
What I loved was my response was we laughed through the whole thing.
Oh, nice.
And yet you knew something bad was going to happen, and
Oh.
you guys brought that out. That was really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you got that in the 40 minutes.
Yes.
And that's probably why you helped make you pick that section of the show then, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to pick an excerpt with a kind of a beginning, middle, and end. And so the Act 2, Scene 1 just worked perfect.
Cool.
Yeah, it just did.
We wanted it to be funny, so that shows a lot of all of that.
Why?
And-
Is the show
and-
mostly funny?
It is. I think it's pretty funny. I mean, I've rehearsed it how many times, and I still laugh at every
And cry.
all the one-liners.
Yeah, I will. I mean, it's still Magnolias.
It's still Magnolias,
It's
yeah.
timeless. It's ultimately a story of 6 women and how they support each other through all kinds of different stages of life. And so, of course, you get 6 women together, and it's going to be funny, no matter what. I mean, it just is.
Yeah, and they're in a salon, and they're just chit-chatting about stuff, right?
It's
And-
based on a true story, and so you're going to have the laughter and the tears and the emotions and the gossiping about other people because,
Because that's
it's
life,
6 women.
man.
It's real life. Yeah.
Dude, we
yeah.
talk about Ron and I gossip all the time.
Right. Right.
This is
Okay.
just ladies.
Mm-hmm.
So the responder once said, the way you sat was great. Everyone's sitting.
Well, the way you sat was great.
Our
and yet there's
chairography was fantastic.
Chairography.
I love that.
They said there was so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
movement. Even though you're sitting, there was so much movement, and there were levels
Oh.
and visually.
That's your strong
Thank
point, isn't it?
you. Yeah,
You've said that
thanks.
before.
Yeah.
You're not a choreographer. You call yourself
I
something.
do chorusography.
Choreography. That's right. So now you can add
I'm great at
chairography to
yes.
your resume as well, huh?
Yeah. I'm unstoppable now.
That's right.
She's unstoppable.
Why OCTA? Why do OCTA? What is so great about OCTA?
I can answer that.
Sure.
Because I mean, it's a
You just sit there and look
beautiful.
pretty. You're sitting in
And she does a
socks,
great
your
job.
hair all
First
done.
experience,
Yeah,
She does a really great job of looking pretty. I mean, she's
yeah, there you
beautiful.
go. Sitting at chairography
right.
over there.
I mean, of course, it's always going to be fun to bring back something to life that meant so much to us. But I also think that there's not enough stories about women and the intricacies
Gotcha.
and all of the stories. There's just not enough women-centered stories, and I think this is the time right now that we need to get these stories out. That we're more than just stereotype. There's so
You're
many
the one
different
who just said
pieces.
you're just all gossipy sitting there talking in the car. That's kind of a stereotype. And then I tried
You calling me out?
I deflected and said that we're as men just as gossipy.
It's true.
So.
We have the
Very
best
true.
of both worlds.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stereotypes for a reason, right? But
Right.
it's just so intricate, and there's so many different stories and women's stories that really need to be uplifted. And so why not right now take something as far as we can go and to as many audiences who will
Yes.
hear us
Yes.
that women are really powerful and important and matter, and female friendships is what, we cling to.
Wow,
for
man,
life,
this show
so.
did inspire you, didn't
Oh,
it?
love it.
As if you weren't
Love
already
it.
inspired enough as it is, but it just brought me even more, especially when you fresh come out of You Inspired Run after
Yeah.
watching this.
I want to talk with that accent. You guys all had good accents.
Oh, what accent's
And-
that? Are they all
and-
Jersey?
and
They got Jersey
I-
accents? What
I-
they got?
Louisiana.
Oh, they're in the South.
Louisiana,
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Magnolias. Yeah.
And
duh.
Yeah.
Yet I understood.
Jinkaberry.
I heard every single word. The diction.
They did a really great job.
Oh, good, good. Did the
Yeah.
responders mention that?
Yes,
Good.
yes.
That is very key. Sometimes that accent can be too much, and it's like, okay, we get it. You're from Cockney, Britain, but I
Yeah.
don't know what you're saying.
But man, everybody loved each other
Yeah.
on that. And
Nice.
And reacted.
That's genuine too. They
And
really do. It's
you
such
guys-
it's a dream cast to work with, but they were
Nice.
so wonderful to work together.
Now-
And yeah,
And
really great.
I sat next to Denny Carruthers, who said he saw the show, and he said he never laughed so hard as at the grave scene.
What a sicko.
So is that a big scene at the end?
It is. It's a very funny scene. I have some pretty emotional monologues, but then it's a great play because it then turns into comedy. So it gets you kind of really heavy, emotional, upset, but then it turns into
in the
laughter,
movie part of Steel Magnolias, are you the kind of
Sally Field.
Oh, Sally Fields. I was going to say the B, but I didn't know if you were that person in the show or not. So, well, that's amazing. Well, I just want to thank you guys for coming on, sitting down, talk with us for a hot minute here, and we got another show to talk to. So
That's great.
Yeah.
Lots of really great excerpts today. So thanks for coming
they're all
out
really
and
great.
talking
We
to
missed
everybody.
3 of them last night. You know,
Yeah.
if anybody had missed those, and again, this is all for next year. So everybody who's listening to this needs
Yeah.
to make sure they come next year.
Absolutely.
Stop messing around and come and support theater because
100%.
you already love it.
You get to see these mini excerpts of if you didn't get to go see the show, and it's one low price for the entire day and a half, and there's a heat advisory outside, and we don't have to
air
worry about that in
conditioning.
here.
And I've never seen the show, and I saw 40 minutes of it, and I'm hooked. I want to see it.
And that's
Fantastic.
exactly what
That's
Octa's
exactly
for.
That's
it.
what
Yeah.
Octa
Yeah.
is for.
To
Celebrate all of the theater and
Yeah,
women and
and celebrate, see some really good. I
Yeah.
mean, this is competitive level, but also to see a show, hopefully that you haven't seen before, and go, okay, now I want to see the whole 3-hour version of this, not
Yeah.
just a 40 minutes, because that was
Definitely.
that just whet my appetite.
And if you win, if you get voted, you're going to do it again somewhere?
Yeah, at the state level. So
Yeah,
we're
they're
at
gonna be in
regions now,
Columbus. Mhm.
and the state level's in Columbus. We will find out later.
All right, so
Who
we'll
goes.
see you in Columbus then. All right,
Yeah,
see you in
That's the
Columbus.
hope.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks.
bye. All righty, Crystal.
Crystal, Tom,
All right, Tom.
Kyle.
Nice to meet you guys.
There will be no test.
Okay.
If you want to hear us, you can put.
Yeah, grab the headphones. You'll hear us a lot better that way.
No one's used those yet today, so you're out. You're the
It
first.
doesn't matter.
I trust you guys.
We're all. She's in theater. She wears a bunch of other clothes that other people have already worn.
That is very true.
Williams County, this is exciting. We've never had Williams County on. We've only been able to just like share your stuff on Instagram and on Facebook of all the events that's coming on. But you guys are here. What's your show that you did today? Haven't done it yet? Have
We
you?
haven't performed yet.
No,
we
no.
perform at 4:30.
Oh, you're a late person, late
Yes.
afternoon person. What is the show?
It's called Lovesick.
Love Sick, which I've never heard of before. Is it a play?
It is.
Okay, is it an original play? Is it one we should all know?
It's not an original play, but it's not a very well-known play.
Not a very well-known play. It's true, obviously, because I don't know it. Tom, you don't know it, do you?
No, I've been in love and I have been sick. That's about all I got there.
And I'm not very good when it comes to any of the plays anyways. Every time somebody comes on and does a play with us, my answer is always, never heard of it. Unless it's Our Town and the Thanksgiving play or any show that's just happened to be on our podcast, I feel like a moron. I don't know any of that stuff. So, but Williams County, where's Williams County homed out of?
We are located downtown Bryan, Ohio, just
Okay.
off of the square.
Okay, so you guys, that's why we haven't had you on. You're out there a little bit
We
from
are.
us, but what is it, like 40 minutes, 45 minutes?
About 50 minutes.
50 minutes,
Yeah,
really?
yep.
Okay, but we got to have you on, okay? So
Yeah,
we want to have
definitely.
you come on. So is everybody just arriving right now then?
Actually, most of my crew and cast probably won't arrive till this afternoon. They're kind
Oh.
of taking it easy this morning and relaxing.
So why are you here
You're
so
here
early?
checking out the competition.
Well, I
is
got
what
to
you're
see
doing.
everybody and support all the other theaters.
There you
know?
go.
Yeah.
See,
Good
that's what I
answer.
wanted to hear. So you're here to actually be a theater fan
Yes,
for a while.
absolutely.
Then. How did you just come out of the Steel Magnolias?
I did. It was
And it
wonderful.
was wonderful.
Yes.
I don't even know what to say because, like I said, I haven't seen the show. So do you want to give me a breakdown
Sure,
of what the show's real quick?
It's 9 different vignettes, so you actually kind of see 9
Oh.
different shows all in one, and it's all about love. And at the end of each vignette, you're kind of left wondering, is this couple going to make it or not?
Okay, so this is kind of made for OCTA,
Yes.
isn't it? If you already have 9 vignettes, you just can take like 2 of them.
Exactly, and we're doing 3.
You're
so
doing 3.
We're doing 3.
Okay, and so one more time, what is it? It's a love story?
Yep, it's a love story, but each vignette is a different love story.
Okay.
It's about a different couple in a different situation, and there's some kind of conflict or something that needs to be resolved, and we don't know if we do resolve it or if we don't resolve it by the end of each vignette.
Okay, has Williams County been to a lot of the OCTA competitions?
We have, yep.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do they normally do? They kick butt, they rule, they do everything,
I mean,
they
I
bring the
think we
best
do
of the
pretty
best?
great. You know, last year we came home with a couple awards,
Nice.
which was awesome. So
nice.
yeah.
So when we get the results tonight, right? When we find out when everybody does everything,
Yes.
you fully expect to hear your guys called, and I assume, right?
I mean, that would be wonderful, but there's a ton of great theaters here, so you just
There
you
really
never know.
is. There really is, isn't there? That's
Yep.
why that's the whole thing we were pimping out is like get everybody here, see what's going on, see what's happening, especially groups that you're not familiar with that you can associate and see. So like if you're from Oregon, chances of you being able to see Williams County is low.
Right.
And same
Yep.
for you, and vice versa. So you can come. Were you here last night to see Oregon
Oh,
do
yeah,
theirs?
sure was.
Yeah,
Yep.
see, they're pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah, they were great.
I can't say anybody isn't really good though.
So if I want to learn more about Bryan or Williams County out
Yeah.
in Bryan, where do I go to? What's the
You can,
website?
our Facebook page is the best way to get all of our information. We post daily, and it's just Williams County Community Theater, or our website, williamscountycommunitytheater.com. We've been around for over 70 years.
Wow.
We're one of the oldest in the state.
Almost as old as Ron.
Yep.
Instagram account? Get tag you on
We don't
Instagram?
have an Instagram, but
Let's get you one.
yeah,
Get one.
we're
Get
working
one.
on it.
I'll tag you on all
Yeah.
those things. Once you get one of those, I can tag you in all the stuff. Whenever-
Perfect.
Like I said, all I do is grab stuff off your Facebook page and share it and try and hope people go and see it or go to the audition.
Yeah, and we
So.
appreciate that. We just actually renovated our theater this past year. It was a big
Really?
$750,000 project. That
Time
we've
for a
been
road
working
trip.
on.
Yeah.
Time for a road trip for us.
So
We can
definitely
drive
come
out there.
check us out, and we're still raising money. We have an amazing community in Bryan that stands behind us and has really been helping us out
Awesome.
a lot.
So what's the process of going through OCTA? I mean, how do you get involved? How do you sign up for this, or what do you do?
You become an OCTA member first, and it's just a yearly due that you pay. And, you have to pick a show from your season of that year that you would like to bring, if you'd like to bring one. And, yeah, you just keep rehearsing that show, and you got to get it down to 40 minutes, which includes your setup and tear down of your set that you bring.
When did you guys perform this?
We performed this back in January.
Okay.
So it's been a little bit.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We started rehearsing in January. The show was the beginning of March.
Okay, so not too
long
bad.
ago.
Not too
Yeah.
bad.
No, not too bad.
But they all went home. Everybody went home and forgot about the show for a month, and then now they got to come back and practice it all over again.
Yep, and we have a couple alternates in our show because original cast members couldn't be
Right.
there. So we've taken cast members who are in a different vignette and put them in one they have never done before.
All right.
So, yeah.
Fantastic.
That's community theater, baby.
Exactly,
That's
yeah.
Step it up.
Yep.
Be a part of the team. You never know when you're going to be needed.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for coming down
Oh,
over here and
thank
sitting
you
with
guys
us.
for
and,
doing this. This is
and
awesome.
we're going to make a road trip for sure.
Oh, please
'Cause all I
do.
got to do is say road trip to Ron, and Ron's ready to go.
Yeah, let us know. We'll have seats ready for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.
Perfect.
All right, so we got Joe with us here with The Actors Collaborative Toledo, you just came out recently, and did they tear you apart? Did they say it was the worst show they've ever seen?
No, they actually gave us one of the best compliments I could hope for, is that all of the 4 actors were equitably talented and really, really shared the space and worked with each other very nicely. There were no weak spots, no weak links. And as a director, that tells me I cast well.
Absolutely.
And they delivered. But I never have to worry about the 4 people in this particular case, because I've worked with them before, and I just had the pleasure. It's a joy just to be around them.
You knew they were going to be great.
I knew they were going to be
I
great.
can vouch for it. Like actually,
Tom was in there. So what'd you think of it, Tom? You had never heard of the show before.
It was. I'm still confused.
It was the Thanksgiving Play is the name of the show. Yeah, so go ahead.
And I knew nothing of it beforehand. And I was actually talking to one of the judges, and they said they got the script, and they said they read the whole script, and she goes, I had no idea what to expect even after I read the whole script.
Really?
And I went, wow, that's kind of
They
cool.
read the whole script? Is that normal?
She did.
Required to.
Oh, they read so they're required to read the whole show. So they know what the show's going to be. So it's not like they're just sitting there cold turkey and watch this thing trying to figure out what's going on.
Right. So
Nice. I didn't know that.
The theaters submit 3 freshly bought scripts, and we give them to them, and then we also let them know what pages that we are going to do.
Gotcha. So you tell them the excerpt part,
time.
but they got to do. Why they got to be freshly bought? Is that just?
It's just a requirement. So there's no notes, there's no leading the witness or taking all of that out of the equation.
Gotcha. So you could have little side notes to say this is a very important part of the show.
Yes,
Pay
please
attention.
watch this. This is the, don't worry about this. This is a hole in the story. No, yes, they get it fresh and they make their own minds up, and they interpret what they interpret. But I thought that she said something when she adjudicated us. She said I didn't know what to expect, but she really did enjoy the excerpt that we did.
That's good.
It's one of the only ones from what I've seen so far that has a continuous excerpt. I mean, it is the last 30 pages of the play.
I was going to ask that.
Continuously.
It seemed like it had a finale.
Yeah, it did.
So-
It did. And
well, I mean, they have to. It's a requirement for OCTA to have a continuous section, though. You're saying it ended in a way that made more sense? Is that what you're saying?
it's just the end of the play.
Right.
Oh.
It's the end of the play. It's the last 30 pages.
You picked
of
the
play.
last 30. Okay.
Because it still had the story arc. It still had enough meat on every character bone. It still had some of the comedic tropes that we put into it. It still had the social thought-provoking topics to cover. So it had everything in there. The only thing that we did differently was the story time when the kids got scared. That happened a little earlier in the play, but I wanted to establish that for maybe a little bit of shock value.
It really did help. I mean, it almost had to have that.
And we had the Thanksgiving play on, so if you guys want to know, Joe's not going to go into all the details of what the show is right now, but so if you want to, go listen to that episode. You can get a little bit more details of what's in there.
That was a good podcast.
Yeah, and when they go on to, thank you, and when they go on to States, you can always go see that episode again.
Yes.
Because you're going on to States, right?
I would hope so. I would think so. But all of the talent, all of the theaters are bringing some really, really, really good excerpts.
That's what they've been saying.
Yeah,
Everybody's very happy with everything that's been going on.
Very strong. So the 3 theaters that advanced to state would have earned it.
Yeah. And maybe your feelings won't be as hurt as much if you don't go because you can recognize that other talent out there as well.
We're not going to admit that yet.
No? Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, I didn't see the extra. You were there. So tell us about it, Tom. Is there any more stuff that you saw that you want to make comments on?
I thought it was intriguing that I don't know how big the casts are in the other ones. This is the only one I've seen so far, and you only had 4 people up there, and they were solid. I mean, they were right on top of each other with lines and everything, and there was no break.
I heard somebody screaming out here.
Oh,
In
I
Azure.
that was probably Ron.
Oh, was there nobody yelling on stage? That wasn't yours? I thought I heard a yelling. I thought, man, they're really getting into
Kate,
it over there right now.
Kate has a moment where she tells everybody to stop doing what they're doing.
Oh, okay.
And, Tom, to what you're saying is that's a high compliment because they produce it in November.
Oh, that was,
So they've had 7 months off.
Oh, wow.
And then we started
that's
rehearsing again the beginning of June. So we've had like 4 rehearsals.
So when you did this in November, did people come up to you and say, that's not really a Thanksgiving play? I mean, it is, but it's not what it's about.
It's not directly what it's about.
Right.
It's an allusion to it, but it is the it's illustrating absurdity by being absurd.
Perfect line.
Well, I mean, how
Say
boring
that
would a
again.
story
That's
be?
exactly what it is.
It is illustrating absurdity by being absurd. It's twisting yourself in ideological pretzels.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
that-
what they did.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a very boring story if it was just the story of the first Thanksgiving or whatever, like we've heard, So it has to have some more, as you said, meat on the bone.
Yeah, it did. And, they think they solved the problem. And then as they're pursuing that solution, oh, no, we can't, because then there's a new problem.
Did they tell you like something that you took to heart, like maybe that you could improve upon on the show? That's generally what they do a lot of.
It was specific to OCTA and some of the light cues because it's not the equipment that we use.
Gotcha.
It's house equipment, and it's not a full-blown light cue sheet with focused lights and colored spaces. So that was one of the things, and we only had one chance to really work with it for like 10 minutes. So that they just made little comments like that.
That's a good follow-up question.
Which isn't
then,
really
too.
your issue.
Yeah, that's part of the challenge, though, too, right?
It
That's what I was
is.
gonna say. Part of the issue is, like you said, well, we haven't even done this show since November. So then we have to collect the 4 people back together again, make sure they still want to do it, and say, yeah, we want to do it. Then get them in June, and then where are you rehearsing this? And then how's that rehearsal process work? Because you're not going to be doing it on the same stage.
Correct. We rehearsed it in a little rehearsal space at Trinity Episcopal Church on Adams Street, and then we had one opportunity to rehearse in the Brown building of the Rep campus.
Okay.
They have that rehearsal spot on the corner of Washington and Michigan. So we rehearsed once there.
Gotcha.
But
And
it's
that's like lighting and everything has to be done there?
No.
Tape on the floor?
It was
This is how
all
big the
lines.
stage is?
Well, we did dimensions for the floor, so they knew that they had 24 by 16 to work within.
Yeah, because different size stage.
Yeah, different size stage, and we also knew the lighting grid. So, OCTA has taped out, if you go up and look at the stage, you'll see 6 zones.
I am going to go look at the stage now.
And you'll see that those 6 zones correspond to the 6 lights that are focused in that zone.
Oh, so you can't move the lights?
We can say, for instance, if you go left to right, downstage 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6 across the top. So the stage manager
Wow.
can say, bring up 2 and 5, cut 1, 3, 4, and 6 to 50%. So
Wow.
that type of stuff they can.
How many times have you done an OCTA?
I assisted with Streetcar Named Desire at States last year, but this is the first time I've been involved as a director for Thanksgiving play, and then I'm also acting in Amadeus.
Oh, you're an Amadeus too? Yeah, I did know you were an Amadeus. I did know that because I go to the Maddie and Bella's downtown, and I was talking to the guy who works there, and your name came up, and I said, of course he's in that show.
So you have a better chance of going than most people because you're in 2 items.
Yeah.
I like I said, if any of our shows go, it's because we've earned it.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that Amadeus gets. I was happy Thanksgiving play was the one before lunch,
Yeah.
and I'm happy that Amadeus is the last one of the festival.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they also get to perform again because they unfortunately had a cancellation in one of theirs. So that's good that they
Yes,
get to do it again. I love that they're doing it.
Even though this is a Thanksgiving play interview,
Yes.
I cannot tell you how happy we are that we get to reprieve at least a little bit of Amadeus
Yeah.
because we did not have closure,
Yes.
and we were
Yeah.
on a roll.
Yeah, you had a sickness
was
in the building that
humming.
went around, and you had to unfortunately cancel the last shows.
Last 4.
Now,
Yeah.
do you watch any of the other performances
Oh, yeah.
through the day?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I noticed in this one, yours had kind of a disclaimer at the beginning of it.
Yeah, it
Is
did.
that unusual?
Well, all of the shows have a disclaimer if it qualifies for language, adult themes, this type of stuff. But because we had an unusual prop that was used,
Yes.
I had to come up with a clever way of presenting that, and I just called it graphic props.
Graphic props.
Yeah, pretty much what it
but
was.
they were.
Yeah.
They were graphic props.
Now I want to know what it is. I wasn't in there. What was it?
Off the mic, I will tell you. No, make you go see it.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, that's right. Go see these shows. So that's the whole point of these is to get a taste of a show and then go see the full length version when it comes out. So everybody needs to start coming to OCTA Fest just to enjoy all the great shows and all the great performances and 40-minute excerpts and get a taste of all these things and say, oh, yeah. But mostly come to OCTA Fest to see all the talent in this area because it's ridiculous. And we're talking about talent on the stage. We're talking the directing. We're talking about just the talent and love of theater in general right here in Northwest Ohio.
Absolutely. Even though these shows are not currently in production,
Right.
it's an indication of the level of talent that we have in all of Northwest Ohio.
And it's all the theaters. That's the thing.
of
It's
them.
like, well, I've never gone and seen a Williams County show.
All of them.
And then you see it here and you're like, why have I never gone and seen a Williams County show? Actors Collaborative, I didn't even know that they did such powerful shows. It's like, go see theater, people.
And the Toledo area ones share resources.
Yeah.
Like the little table that was on Thanksgiving play.
Oh, okay.
That table, even though it had a tablecloth, we're going to use it in Amadeus. So, we shared our resources. We share resources with 3B. Whenever we can, they do. Whenever they do, we can. Yeah. So that's the type of, it's putting the community in community theater, as awful of a phrase that is. But
No, it's not awful. It's exactly right.
It's true. And we're really finding other opportunities to do that because ACT does not have a home theater.
Right.
So we've done... When we did Thanksgiving play, it was in the Maumee Indoor Black Box Theater, which is right next door.
That would be perfect for it.
It was perfect for it.
And where's Red Speedo? They're doing Red
Speedo at the Rep.
Is that the Rep?
That's the Rep.
See, so it's like they are welcome everywhere, and that's great.
Yep.
They even share Joe.
They even share Joe.
They share me.
They're so collaborative.
Right now, at the end of June, there's not a lot of Joe left to share. But
Well, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate
Gentlemen,
you doing
thank you
this.
very
Thanks
much.
for participating in OCTA and then putting on a great show.
it's an honor. Thank you very much for coming and interviewing us. I appreciate it, and I'm sure I'll talk to you again soon.
All right, man. Bye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Did we talk to you last year?
No, we did not.
New person.
We did not.
Have
Let's
a
grab
seat.
the seat. We're going to jam the microphones
Get your
right in your
mouth
face.
close.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, he's all tangled up over there. There we go. All right. See how close I am to the microphone here?
Yeah.
We want
Can
you
you hear
that.
me?
We want you that close. I can barely hear you. Go talk a little more. Use that responder voice.
I'm going to say, I don't
Yeah.
usually get this.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You
I can
sound
hear you?
wonderful.
Okay.
I think you got a booming voice more. So.
I do.
That's okay. That's good. All right, so now we have the responders from the morning shows already that we just did. Were you guys? Are you doing all the shows though? Obviously, right?
Correct.
You're not just because that's the only way that would be fair to judge.
Right.
You can't just have 3 people watching the morning shows and then the other 3 is like. How are you going to possibly judge in that situation?
Right, because you already have 3 different opinions going on. If you had more responders than that and doing
Right.
different sets, then they're not being judged
Yeah.
by the same kind of thought patterns going on.
So we just had our first show. People
Yeah.
come on and from Steel Magnolias, and they said you guys were nice. Is that normal? You guys just nice normally?
They're
Not too judgmental for responders?
We're encouraged not to be too judgmental because, we're all just community people doing
That's
this
right.
for the fun of it,
100%,
right?
100%.
And it's meant to be a learning process in there as well. So, if you want to
Great
try
point.
people to learn something, then you've got to put it in a way that they're going to be able
Right.
to hear
You
it.
can't be
and not feel-
condescending a-holes that are just
Right,
doing
you
mean stuff to them.
People don't respond when you attack them.
No.
They just get in attack mode.
Ron's
and that's
always
it.
mean to me, and I don't even listen. I just
See,
turn him
you've
right
turned
off.
him out, and
I
we
don't-
want them
if
to
he's
hear
talking
us,
right now,
so.
I don't even know it.
That's right.
so wait. Where did you guys come from to get here?
Yeah.
So go ahead, Kathy.
Oh, okay. I'm from Columbus, actually, which is considered the central region. And
Right.
so I do theater with a bunch of the different theaters in the central region. And so we are not allowed to adjudicate your own region.
That
you
makes
can
sense.
adjudicate other regions.
Yeah.
So Columbus area for me.
I'm from the eastern region,
Gotcha.
which is over by Canton, Akron.
Yeah, the Cleveland, Canton, Akron. Is that
Right.
so? Is there a northeastern and an eastern?
Correct.
Is that how it is? Okay.
And southeast.
Yeah.
Because I noticed you didn't
Yeah.
say Cleveland, so you
Yeah,
went down
no,
in the
no.
you're right in the
So
middle.
We're kind of in the middle, and
Yeah.
it's a little weird because Marietta's thrown in there, and there are some. So our region's kind of larger, but there aren't a ton of community theaters in the
Right.
region.
So it's rowdy as all bejeebus in here right now because we're in the intermission lunchtime.
And we're in the lobby, so
Oh, yeah,
everyone connects to
So
the
sorry
lobby.
if everybody's having a hard time hearing. I can hear you just fine, but our listeners may be like, "What in the?" That's what it is, though.
And you
It's
got a
just-
bunch of actors hanging out over
Yeah,
here.
and they all have big mouths.
They all
so
project,
So
yeah.
like suddenly you can hear every word they're saying,
Exactly.
right?
Like, where was that on stage 5 minutes ago?
Yeah. Now they all have outgoing. Hey, keep it down back there, rowdies.
I was in there when you responded to Steel Magnolias,
and I think you stood up and you were still crying.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I am a Truvy. Nobody cries
what?
alone in
What's
my
a-
presence. I'm a Truvy.
Truvy.
Has this line about nobody cries alone in my presence. And
Is
that's
that Steel Magnolia?
That's the Steel
Okay,
Magnolia.
thank you.
She's the main hairdresser
Gotcha.
It's her
who owns
salon.
the shop. Yeah.
You were crying at the end of the excerpt?
Yeah, well,
they already won then. They already won.
Yeah, they won.
No, that's just because when I feel those emotions and things, that's how my body responds for one thing. And
No,
so
that's
I'm a
good.
very empathetic crier.
That's the entire theater point.
But that also goes to show about when you choose the right excerpt
Yeah.
and what that does and what you're trying to put out there for your show as to what you think is the best part of, and that's the goal is for them to come up
Ron
with.
said he was laughing the whole time.
yeah,
though.
yeah, it's a great show,
And yet you're holding your breath too.
and the actresses did a really nice job of kind of highlighting what was coming next without giving it away. And if you know the show, then we know what the next scene is.
Well, we don't see Shelby again.
And we don't see Shelby again. Like that is Shelby's
Kind of
exit.
final. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her
Wow.
exit there.
So you guys have seen like 6 shows already, right? Is that what you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've seen 6 shows.
Have we seen 6? I
Yeah,
thought it
you
was
saw
5.
3 yesterday.
We saw 3 yesterday and 2
3 yesterday.
morning.
So you've already seen half the shows then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Already.
Yeah.
So is there something that you're looking for in particular in these shows at all? Like anything? Like do you have like a set of rules that you're following? Like, or are you just more fluid?
I think it's a pretty fluid process, although I'm looking at the same kind of aspects in every production. So, you're looking at acting, directing, you're looking at the technical parts, you're looking at, kind of consistently how the story's being told, how the characters have been developed, all of those things.
Gotcha.
But every story is different, so how that happens is different.
Right, very
in
different.
every production.
I mean, you had Puffs. You had Puffs,
Right.
a Harry Potter
Right.
funny thing, and then you just had Steel Magnolias, where you know something's going to happen,
Exactly.
and
Right.
Thanksgiving Day is totally different, and you got
Sure.
all these shows that are so different. It's like trying to figure out what's great about each one of them. Obviously, it's got to be a challenge.
Yeah, so they give us guidelines as to, like what Tom was saying, that they give us guidelines as to, is the direction good? Is there a clear picture as to what's happening in there? Is there motivation to the movement they're doing? Are they using their space the way that's helpful to them? But then, you've got all these different shows. We're not going to look for the same kind of Steel Magnolia kind of connections to the characters in Thanksgiving Day when the message of that show is completely different,
Yeah.
and that's not what
Do
we're
they
going
get bonus
for.
points for if they have a huge cast compared to if
No.
they just have a 2-person cast?
No.
Really?
No.
Not even the director? I feel like the direction would be much harder
Sometimes
than a one-person show.
Sometimes just 2 people is harder because
Oh,
then
yeah.
you only have 2 people on stage to fill it and figure out movement for just 2 people, and that can be harder in making sure they're not too stagnant.
So Tom, you talked about the sitting movement. Did you talk about they were good sitters?
Did you mention that? I know I
think that
did.
was
Was that
Kathy,
you? That was
actually.
you.
I think that
Okay.
was
Chair
Kathy.
walking, chair movement, yeah.
The sitting was so on
Sitting-
point. Yeah.
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 Bonus points for that.
If you notice, like we've got 4 people and we're all sitting differently just based on our own comfort level at
Yeah.
the moment, and it says
Yeah.
a lot about you. And especially on stage, actors tend to forget that they've got arms and really.
What's my sitting say about me?
You're really comfortable in what you're doing right now because your leg is crossed and you're just you're really comfortable in your space.
Yeah.
Where
I
Tom
give
and
0
are-
Fs is what you're saying, huh?
No, it's good. 'Cause what it's telling us is you're a really comfortable guy right now, and we can be comfortable too.
I hope so. I hope you can be.
Yeah,
you
the
know.
vibe you're giving off.
No
is really
pressure.
helpful.
No pressure. Did you give a lot of?
right.
Oh, go ahead, Ron. Sorry.
Do you write a lot? Or you give them written notes?
Yes.
Oh.
So there is a form actually that the responders use that we submit within like the next 2 weeks.
So you don't give all the instruction, all the responses at that moment.
They
Yeah,
tear-
we only
they-
have 3 minutes.
We only have
Oh,
3
okay.
minutes.
They
and
tear them apart on paper, but
That makes more sense.
to
It's
their
more
faces,
helpful-
they're
it's more
nice.
helpful suggestions
Yeah.
and thoughts.
Right.
You said it's a learning process.
Well, and I try to frame it all in kind of a positive light as much as I can.
Yeah.
These are volunteers, I mean, we have to keep that in mind.
Right,
These
but
are
they're all volunteers who want to be great.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
the two. Nobody's here messing around.
Right.
Anybody who's doing community theater wants to go up on stage and put out the greatest show that they can. They don't want to embarrass themselves or do anything.
Right.
So if you're going to help them with some of your responses, I'm sure they're happy to hear
Yeah,
it.
so I frame it positively, but typically I have 2 or 3 kind of things to think about that maybe would enhance what I saw, or
I mean, most of the time when they leave the show, they come out and their aunts and uncles and grandmas and moms all tell them they're perfect.
Right.
That's not going to help them.
Right.
Okay, they need you guys to help them too.
Yeah.
You know, and including the directors and the choreographers, and if they're only getting into the same ruts of doing the same stuff, who's going to tell them?
Right.
If not you guys, right?
Right.
And that's also why people need to come and be a part of OCTA too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they're all going to think they're the greatest things in sliced bread unless somebody tells them, and they're not going. Nobody gets better unless they're told to get better.
Right. And 3 minutes is not long when we're responding. So the written response, I get more into the nitty gritty.
It allows us to get to those details and say, like, in this moment in particular, you could have maybe things to think about.
So we grabbed you immediately after this. Is this normally when you would be writing all your notes on these things?
No,
Did you do it during the show?
I actually don't even use the form when I'm taking notes watching.
Okay.
I actually just use a legal pad, and I have categories, and I just kind of write in as it goes.
That's exactly what Ron did. He just did the same thing when you saw Steel Magnolia. He's writing those little pads on the back of his paper.
And then I will take that legal pad and put it in the form.
So you make little bullet notes on like this, and then you use that to write out a full sentence.
I don't know if Kathy does that.
You
actually use the form.
I use the form that they give us, but before we go in, I have things that I'm looking for. I want to see, like in Steel Magnolias, are the women making connections with each other, and how do we do that? They could be looking at each other. There could be a touch. There could just be
That's Steel Magnolias, man. Those women gotta have a connection.
Exactly, and sometimes it's just looking at each other and being able to nod in agreement or know that is there. Whereas in Thanksgiving Day, we don't want that. I want to know what's the main thoughts here, and are they getting those points across? And what are they doing to help highlight those parts that we're supposed to be paying attention to?
Man,
how did they do that?
You guys have had years of training?
I think
maybe it takes you a while before you get to be a full-fledged responder, though. Too.
Yeah, you have to think through it, and they do a wonderful job of trying to train us. They have us work a whole entire state conference, which is 15 plays. And they go through that as to like what that looks like, and you have a chance. So it's a learning process.
I've talked to somebody who was in training, and that was it was a lot of work for them just to become a responder, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to have some rookie up there telling me stuff and they don't know what they're supposed to be looking for. So that's good. You guys take a hot minute to be able to be full blown responders. Then, so that's.
I think everyone who does this, though, we've been doing theater for 30 plus years. I mean, it's like, and I'm in educational theater, so I
am too.
Tend to overanalyze to begin with.
No, that's good.
You try to have to think through those things and motivation and all that.
Motivation and all that. You get all real artsy, all of you. Is that what you're saying? Where's their happiness coming from?
Nothing happens without conflict.
That's right.
Nothing on stage happens without conflict.
Yep.
I see.
It's not a good story if there isn't conflict.
And the conflict can be something as basic as Kathy has a pen and I want it, or it can be really, really deep. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You guys go get your food truck food. I appreciate the time that you guys sat down with us right now. Explain to us a little bit what was going on. You did mention that you can't cover your own area, though. Right. So when state happens, who are those people?
They
because
bring them
everybody's
from. Out of state.
Yeah,
they're people who are professors, like college professors and those kinds of things from other states.
Okay.
So other states have programs that are very similar to ours, and there's also a national group that's called the American Association of Community Theaters.
Yeah,
that does
ACT.
A national,
AACT. Not our ACT, which is here in town, Actors Collaborative Toledo.
There you go. And so they do bring them from out of state for that.
Okay, so you could end up maybe someday you could go to Michigan and judge Michigan's one, possibly.
Sure.
I'm putting in a good word for you right now.
Just put that karma out there.
She's from Columbus. She doesn't want to go to Michigan.
Just trying to be nice.
Bad. Good point.
I'll go to Pennsylvania.
Indiana.
Pennsylvania, Indiana, Chicago. I'd go to Chicago.
You go to Chicago.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, you two.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for being here.
Woo.